You ever watch a whole room turn ice cold in an instant? Not because of the air conditioning, but because a single act just strips the dignity right out of the air? That's what happened to my family the night we sat down, dressed to the nines, ready to celebrate my daughter Jasmine's graduation. Just one of those proud, ordinary, supposed to be beautiful milestones at a restaurant I'd always admired from a distance, never imagining it'd be the stage for one of the wildest nights of my life. You know what I mean? Anyway, there we were, me in my best suit, my wife Michelle smoothing her dress, Jasmine glowing in her white and gold cap and gown, and little Tyler, tin and restless, fiddling with his tie, already dreaming of dessert. From the moment we walked through the doors at Costello's, you could feel it, this tension, like we'd walked into the wrong movie and everybody noticed. The hostess tried to hide it with a professional smile, but the real temperature came from the staff behind her. Our waiter, Blake, thin smile, eyes scanning us up and down, didn't even bother pretending. I could tell from the way he handed us menus with 2 fingers, like we might stain them, and the way he announced today's specials. All slow and loud, the way people do when they think you don't understand basic English. He made sure every table within earshot could hear him. Every move heavy with fake politeness, but oozing contempt. He kept glancing at the manager, Thomas, and I saw the tiniest nod pass between them, like a green light. But see, I've spent too much time in rooms like that, felt too many microaggressions masquerading as customer service, and I wasn't about to give them a show. So I just kept my cool. Ordering starters, calamari and bruschetta, nothing complicated. When Blake brought out stuffed mushrooms and fried zucchini, neither of which we'd ordered, he looked genuinely insulted when I pointed out his mistake, insisting I'd misunderstood the menu. At this point, Jasmine's face went crimson, sinking lower in her seat, the way kids do when they want to disappear. I reassured her quietly, keeping my tone even for Tyler's sake. Sometimes people show you who they are without saying a word, you know? But what Blake didn't know was that every little slight, every sideways glance, every whispered joke to the other servers was being cataloged, because I had a plan. My family didn't know I'd recently acquired Costello's through a quiet deal, and tonight, I needed to see what happened to people like us, unannounced, unsheltered. And boy, did I see it. Our entrees came out after every other table had already finished. When Michelle asked for bread, Blake let out this big, theatrical sigh, like it was an insult just to be asked for basic hospitality. The bread, of course, never came. The real breaking point? Blake approached with a pitcher of ice water, moved behind me, and tripped, sending the entire contents down my back, soaking my suit. Freezing water pooling around my feet, the whole restaurant turning silent. And right there, while the ice was still melting into my socks, Blake announced for everyone, these people shouldn't be allowed in places meant for real customers. He did it with a smirk, as if daring anyone to speak up, like the joke was on us. Now, let me back up a sec. I'm not some hothead, and I learned long ago not to meet hate with rage, but I also know there's a time to stand up, especially for your family, when your kids are watching what you do next. So I stood, brushed off what dignity I had left along with the ice cubes, and reached into my pocket, pulling out a business card, still miraculously dry. Actually, I'm Anthony Daniels, CEO of Pinnacle Restaurant Group. I own this place, and 37 others across the country. You're fired. Effective immediately. The words landed heavy. Blake's face went paper white. For a split second, you could hear forks drop, breath held. But that moment, as satisfying as it was, wasn't the end. It was just the opening act. Because what started as a personal humiliation exploded into something much bigger. See, in the commotion, Tiana, a young black server, slipped into the manager's office and saved the security footage to a flash drive, hands trembling but eyes fierce. Social media caught the aftermath, and by the time we left the parking lot, strangers were coming up. Mr. Daniels, I recorded everything. It's already going viral. Suddenly, my private fight for respect became a public reckoning. Back home, I did what I do best, dug into the data, called in my team. We found patterns. Blake wasn't alone. Thomas, the manager, had dismissed 3 prior discrimination complaints against him. HR records showed 5 terminated whistleblowers pressured to sign NDAs. This was a rot, systemic, baked into more than one restaurant. My wife, Michelle, kept reminding me, if this happened to us, What about all the families who don't own the building, who can't make a call and end someone's shift with a single word? That's when the real twist landed. Tiana, the server, reached out, said she'd been collecting evidence for months. She'd risked her job, her safety, because she knew management had been coaching staff on how to handle certain customers. Using code words, assigning worse sections, all of it. She handed me texts, emails, recordings, a whole system designed to protect the restaurant's image while sacrificing its integrity. If someone spoke up, their hours got cut, shifts made impossible, until they quit or were fired for performance. Within 48 hours, the press got wind. Our reporting system flooded with testimonials, from kitchen staff to customers to former managers. I realized, for every Blake caught on camera, there were dozens just as bad, hidden by the same polite veneer, protected by silence. My phone rang with calls from other CEOs, some defensive, some suddenly interested in reviewing company policies. You know the type. Even the regional director, Cameron Walsh, called, offering to resolve this quietly by transferring Blake to another location. I told him, this isn't about one waiter, it's systemic. We're investigating company-wide. Of course, Blake tried to play the victim. He went on TV, claimed cancel culture had destroyed his life, insisted it was just a little accident. But the videos told another story. When he filed a wrongful termination lawsuit, hoping to play the reverse discrimination card, my legal team just smiled. We had video from every angle. Dozens of employee statements, even his own words recorded in the break room, laughing about targeting us. But the real heart of the story came from the voices I hadn't expected, former staff, customers, people who'd been brushed aside, told to let it go. We held a public forum, voided all NDAs, and listened, really listened. My daughter Jasmine even spoke. Her voice shook at first, but she steadied herself, told a room full of executives and lawyers and news cameras exactly what it felt like to have her graduation celebration turned into a lesson on racism. To know that her family had power, but most families didn't. That hit home harder than any lawsuit ever could. Change wasn't overnight. Systems never are. We rolled out new policies. Transparent complaint systems, independent oversight, anti-bias training, overhauled hiring and promotion. We promoted Tiana to oversee inclusion and equity across every location. The media went wild. But the real satisfaction? Watching employee retention go up, discrimination complaints plummet, seeing guests, no matter what they looked like, treated with real dignity, not as a box to check. But you want the real ending? 1 year later, we returned to Costello's. Place looked the same, but the vibe was different. Genuine welcome, staff reflecting the city. Every table getting the same respect. Our server, Ava, recognized me only after dessert. She leaned in and whispered, "Thank you. This is the best job I've ever had." Jasmine beamed, finally able to celebrate on her own terms. We toasted not just her graduation, but the quiet, daily victories that came after, the kind you don't see on the news. Yeah, Blake's out there somewhere. Still bitter, but the world kept turning. Real change started with one ugly act, but grew every time someone stood up, called it out, and kept pushing for better. Justice isn't always flashy. Sometimes it's just a family getting through dinner in peace. So let me ask you, if it was your family, how would you have handled it? Would you have walked out, stood up, gone public, or just tried to let it go? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about what justice, dignity, and real change mean where you live. And hey, if you felt something tonight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. These stories matter, and you never know who needs to hear it next.